The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
All right, so I just want to remind you that sdpn.ca, where you hook up your Steve Dangle Podcast merchandise. Jesse Blake, I have a question for you.
What's up?
It's in my DMs, and it was all caps.
Oh, no.
Do you know it was super cereal? Okay? Super duper cereal.
They do go down in the DM.
When, in caps, are we in caps getting our in caps Steve Dangle Podcast jerseys? Hockey jerseys. When will that be available, Jesse?
Well, I don't know. You just gotta keep on a lookout. You know, we have a little newsletter that goes out with the website. If you want to be the first to know when that drops, maybe you hit subscribe. Maybe you enter your email there, and maybe we send you the little email.
Is it dropping
Maybe
soon?
It drops as an NFT and not as a physical jersey.
Can you imagine?
Maybe somebody's working on a little NFC drop of Steve Dangle Podcast cards and a jersey.
That's
For
a
$25,000.
It's
What?
not going to be cheap. I don't know what you're expecting, but
Pixels are mad expensive.
So Jesse, here's the thing with Jesse. He's very evasive, but it's convincingly evasive. So
What do you mean?
Jesse you'd make a fantastic politician. Step forward, say nothing, step back. Everyone goes, great. Okay, well, I feel good about that plan. So
when I was a kid, my mom always told me I should be a lawyer because I was really good at lying to my parents when I was a kid, but it wouldn't be about anything serious. It'd be like, oh, did you do your homework? And I'd come up with some elaborate excuse as to why I didn't.
Now, was your sister as good at it?
Oh God, no.
No, I didn't think so.
No. My sister's
Not as good of a liar. It's amazing.
Jesse's sister is one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life, so I'd have a hard time believing she'd be any good at that.
Right.
To the list.
But I was one of those little kids who would just lie about nothing, you know?
Yeah, well, of course, just to see if you could.
Yeah, like that.
Now, NFTs, on that subject, I hope you're working on NFTs. I don't even know if you're being serious or not. But I know that Steve is very upset this afternoon because he missed out on a $300,000 LeBron James NFT, apparently.
Yep. I was getting shit done. I had to go pick up some new glasses. I got them.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see them? I can put them on.
Yeah, put them
And
on.
also a new furnace. Hey, kids, you want a new furnace?
Buy
Do
a
you
house.
also have $5,000 you'd like to part with? That's how
Here's
you
the
get a
thing
new
about-
furnace, kids.
The thing about buying a house is everybody's like, listen, if I just want to buy a house. By the way, glasses look good. Just want to buy a house. I just want to own a house. And I get you, 100% get you. However, when you are even able to put the money together to buy the house, that's when the expenses begin. It's not like it stops. It's not like, oh, I just pay my mortgage and that's it. It's tens of thousands of dollars doing stuff that you just like, that barely made a difference. Like no one is going to come to Steve's house and go, God, it feels efficient in here. Is that a furnace?
Wow.
Wow.
Bro, is this on low fire or high fire right now? I'm feeling a little high fire right now. You don't gotta. Oh, you leave your fan on all the time, or is it on auto? It's actually better to leave it on because the stop start actually puts stress on the motor. Anyway, what were you saying, bro? I know we haven't seen each other in like 14 months. Like, what were you?
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. So
I know Steve did renovate. Sorry, Jesse. Go ahead.
At 2 p.m. Eastern time today, there was a NBA Top Shot pack drop. The Cool Cats Drop 4 is being released, and you had to get in line before 2 p.m. to be eligible for the pack. And Steve, you weren't in line.
Because I forgot, even though I set an alarm like you did at 1:55 for the 2 p.m. drop, I forgot, and my plans for a yacht are once again on hold.
I'm currently in line. There are 23,000 users ahead of me,
I'm so jealous.
but there are 82,000 packs remaining.
You
so
jerk.
I'm
So you're opening that on the show.
this time I'm going to get one.
Can you run me through how that works? So they do a drop. What do you do?
So
Get
like
rid.
today, we'll use today, for instance. So today there's a drop at 2. So before 2, you hit up the landing page where the drop is going to happen. And then at 2, you get placed in line. So everybody who's on the landing page at 2. So today there was 200,000 people on the landing page at 2 p.m. At 2 p.m., these 200,000 people who are on this webpage get spit out into a random order into line to buy a pack. So there's 200,000 people, but there's only 90,000. Let's say there's only 90,000 packs. So I got placed in I was 56,000th in line. So that means I'm within that 90,000 window. So I'm going to get a pack today. But you could have been placed in like 150,000. You could have been first. You could have been last, wherever. So if you're not in line at 2 p.m., you're not going to get a pack because then you don't get placed in line. So yeah. So then once you're placed in, so I'm like I said, I'm 22,000. So I've moved up about 25,000 slots so far. And then once it's your turn in line, you have an hour to just go through the checkout and buy your pack. So you could be sitting. So like, I'm just going to leave that tab open. And whenever it's my turn in line, I'm going to get a notification or an email, or I'll just check it. And then within that hour, I'll have my turn in line to buy a pack.
And then there's the random packs. So you might get something super valuable or not. And how do you determine value and how do you resell it?
Great question, Adam.
So the value is determined just by what the marketplace values it as. So whoever wants to buy a pack, buy that card, will buy it for whatever they determine the value as.
Do you instantly put yours up for sale?
Yeah, I do but you don't have to. But like the rarity of the card determines the value ultimately, right? You want something that's unique and nobody else has.
Rarity's big, but also there's been a fascinating thing like with LeBron James, where like everything of his is extremely valuable, and that includes cards that aren't even his. Mm-hmm. So there was a card, I think it's gone down in value, but like most of them have after the initial boom. It's a Pascal Siakam card, and it's him blocking LeBron, and it was by far the most valuable Pascal Siakam moment because it's on LeBron. Anything that features LeBron is more valuable by having LeBron in it. That's how influential LeBron James is. Mm-hmm. If he happens to be on a card that's not even his, and also it's not a physical card, it's literally just digital, and there's thousands of them. He's an icon.
Well,
he's an absolute icon.
The unique thing about NFTs is that they're non-fungible tokens, and that they're stamped and they're yours. So there can be thousands, but there can also be like hundreds or tens of them. And you have proof that you own that one LeBron James digital card.
Technically, each one is a one of one.
Yes.
Right.
Technically,
but
so if
then
you
there'll
have
be
number 2,500 out of 10,000, there's only one that is numbered 2,500 out of 10,000.
Exactly.
Okay. So let me ask you this. When you do put it up for sale, Jesse, like, have you sold any?
No, I don't have any valuable cards. Like, I've only gotten one pack so far.
That's how hard it is to get one?
Yeah, well, I haven't been
really
trying.
Hard.
Yeah, it's really hard, but I haven't been trying for as long as Steve. Steve has more cards than I do. So
I've only done two or three.
Second pack, but yeah, you just throw them up, and I haven't sold any yet.
I know Auston Mathews put out his today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't have any word on how they've done, but I'm sure somebody paid a fortune for whatever it was.
I was looking.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Okay. I'm in this game. I might as well dive head first. And so they were up yesterday, and the auction runs through. They're going to be available through Saturday, and you're going to bid on them. And when I was checking yesterday, there's a couple of them that are like the rare ones. There are a couple that are only that edition. There's one of his jersey, is just a digital rendition of his jersey, and that was going for about $7,000. It was 1.3 Ethereum, which is about $7,000. So yeah, it was pretty crazy. And I think he has a collection of like 80 different cards, but like the top end ones, like that one that was going for 7,000, that one also came with some real life things. So you'd buy this NFT and you also get a autographed jersey, you get tickets to a game, and you get a Zoom call with Auston Mathews. So like you're not just purchasing that NFT, you're also getting these other things. A couple of the other ones came with some autographed sticks and some tickets to as well. And then there were some that were like 200 starting bids, but those were just NFTs. So you just get this trading cards for Auston Mathews. That's an NFT, and it's just yours for like a couple $100.
How much is the NBA pack? Sorry, Steve. How much does it cost?
It varies.
So on Monday, there was a pack drop for $999.
Unbelievable.
So you could buy that pack of cards, and in that pack, if you buy it for $1,000, you're gonna get something crazy. Like,
okay.
There's a guarantee that in this pack you're gonna get some rare cards.
So you make your money back, probably.
Yeah, you're gonna. But for those packs, those really rare packs, you have to meet a certain amount of criteria to be eligible to even purchase it. So NBA Top Show will be like, hey, unless you have 3 rare cards, you've participated in these 4 different pack drops, then you can't purchase it. So you have to meet these minimum requirements to actually purchase those really rare packs. But a pack like today is open to everybody. Everybody can get it, and it's only $14.
And here's why the packs are so important. So when I was starting to get into it, I bought 4 cards just individually on their own, and I have eaten a mountain of shit on all of them. So I bought a Serge Ibaka for $19. It's now worth $9, so I've lost $10 there. I bought a DeMarcus Cousins card for $29. It's now worth $9, so there's $20. I'm now down $30. I bought a Robin Lopez moment that was just a funny jump shot for $24. It's now worth $13, so I've lost $11. And you thought my James Reimer figure was stupid for $60? Guess what? I still have it in my room. I spent $60 on a Chris Boucher card, and it is now worth $21. So I lost $39 on it.
That's why these pack drops are so important, like you're saying, Steve, because in these pack drops, I'll pay $14, but I might get a couple cards that are worth how much ever. But if you're buying them on the marketplace, you're basically playing stocks. And
I'm still up.
Yeah, Steve, your whole collections has a pretty good value. It's not bad, but
$165. I'm up 33.
But when you're buying them secondary off of people who purchase packs, you're like, okay, I think this is going to go up in value, and you might get screwed like Steve, where you're like, I'm going to pay $60, but it might be worth $100 in like a couple weeks, and then it might be worth $20.
See, this is interesting because to me, it's a more fun way of gambling. Like I'm not into. I'm not a card guy, and I'm not like going to be at a table like playing roulette or whatever. I just not my thing. So, and I don't know if you've ever been in a casino. They can be fun.
Oh yeah.
But most of the time it's sort of depressing. Like, I mean, if you're in Vegas, the casinos are great. If you're in Rexdale in Ontario, it might be a little different.
You're at the ponies, and the guys at the slot machine at the racetrack just pulling.
That's right. And there's no windows, and there's no clocks, and you don't know what time it is, and you don't know which way is north. It's weird.
I will continue to say this. We have a lot of nerve picking on Buffalo when Niagara is right next door.
What, you mean Casino Niagara?
Oh, dude. No, not Casino Niagara, like a specific place, but like... Dude, I feel bad sometimes.
Niagara has a nice street.
How dare you?
Hey, it's a hill, Adam.
It's a hill.
Clifton Hill is what
Clifton Hill. You know what? I have to say the casinos down there are way better. Like we had one. I don't know what it's like in your city, but like I remember in Calgary, there was like casinos everywhere. It's like, what's the big deal? But in Ontario, for some reason, we've got these old school, like puritanical laws that have held back, like can't drink outside, can't do anything. It was like a big deal back in the day when we started opening up shops on Sunday. And of course, there was supposed to be a casino about 3 years ago. They had
downtown
Toronto casino, which every major city has. But all the religious leaders got together and said, well, guys, this will be the degradation of society as we know it. And as we know, that's not the case. But and it would have been a huge moneymaker, and they would have had another place for bands and music artists to stay. The thing I like about local casinos is you have like a 5,000 person amphitheater in there normally, and you get to see acts that are sort of mid-range. In Toronto, you either have somebody that can play to 50 to 100 people, or 5,000, or like 15,000 or 20,000. There is no sort of mid-range arena. You know what I'm saying?
Mid-card. They all come to Oshawa.
Yeah, 100%. They do Oshawa. They do Hamilton. They'll do...
Seinfeld did Oshawa.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that when I saw the sign. I'm like, Jerry Seinfeld? Like, I'm just picturing him eating at like Ted's.
Yeah, totally.
Like, what? Okay.
Yeah. Sure. I remember I went and saw Kenny Rogers at Casino Rama. And it's the only concert I've ever walked into where people parked their walkers at the entrance and then walked to their seat. I'm not kidding.
That's
and
adorable.
Then the best part was they did not get up for any song except for the last one. So he comes out, everybody stays sitting, and they're all clapping. It's just,
But for the last song, it's all right. Leave it all on the floor.
yeah. So like, you know,
Let's get
the Gambler is obviously the last song, but he came out to like Ruby, and it was like, you painted up your lips and blah blah blah, and then and everybody's like, yay! But it's like you're like at a Christmas concert for a kid. It was crazy.
That's a big business. Those buses that pull up at like nursing homes and bring down all the folks to the casino. You know,
Huge.
like that's huge business.
I've heard about it.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it. I
And
try not to think too much about it.
The thing with Ontario casinos too is that there's the casino, and it's inevitably surrounded by forest in every direction because you can't have it near civilization because, again, degradation of society. But you'll have this one little burnt out shotgun shack next door that will convert. We'll take gold and convert it to money. It's like this weird, creepy little pawn shop. There's one on the way to Rama. I remember that. And it's a very bizarre call. Have you guys ever been to Casino Rama?
Yeah, I've been.
Do you know what I'm talking about on the road? They're like, we'll take gold, like we'll trade.
Yeah, like those cash for your quick cash places, you know?
Yeah, but it's not like one you would see downtown that even has like bars on the windows or something. It's like Joe at his local house. Like it's very bizarre. And yeah.
I think Rama's a very nice place. Like that little
awesome.
Niagara area is very nice. But I know every year it's a huge deal when the X opens because the X opens with a casino. If for those 2 weeks in Toronto, you get a downtown casino, and there's always people in there.
Yeah, but like you play those games where you're trying to throw a ring on a bottle. That's just gambling.
Yeah, 100%.
Regular packs of hockey cards, like you should have seen. Like I would walk to and from school instead of taking the subway because I wanted to buy hockey cards. You can't tell me that's not gambling. You can't tell me I wasn't making a decision.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, what do you classify as gambling? Like stock markets, that's kind of gambling.
That's gambling.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I consider to be gambling.
Yeah. Anyways, so NBA Top
NFTs,
Shot, awesome.
gambling you can do at home on a much smaller, manageable basis, right? It's sort of like real estate, but with cards. So
it's also art collection, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you think, hey, this Picasso's a speculative asset that's gonna raise, I'm gonna buy this Picasso for $1 million and then resell it for $2 million in 20 years. Like that's also a strategy, you know.
You know what the next thing is? Guaranteed. People are gonna sell frames that are just designed to display your NFTs.
That's already, I can tell you right now, it's already done.
Jesse, you should make those. You know how to do that.
They're already out there. I can pull it up and show you them.
Like digital frames?
Yeah.
And they're meant to display your NFTs.
Display your NFT. Well, they're just displaying the JPEG, right? And then you throw it up and it's on your wall. It's pretty cool.
Thought I had $1 billion idea.
No.
I should delete this part. Delete this. No one steal my idea.
Jesse, you've actually got the skills to make those, man. You should do that.
You know, it's big business. I told you, just give me a couple weeks. You're going to see the Steve Dangle Podcast NFTs. It's going to be cool. Maybe we'll sell some of the podcast episodes of the past, like some of the moments.
Whoa.
There'll be little digital things. I'm working. Give me some time.
Let me buy Smart Insider Man.
I was just about to say.
Exactly. So
favorite moment.
You want that moment? It'll be in a little NFT and you can buy it, and then we'll like donate half the proceeds to sick kids and that sort of stuff. It's all coming down the line.
I should mention that's what Mathews did too. He's donating a portion of his proceeds to sick kids. That's great too. We love that.
We love sick kids skates. I forgot to bring that up in my LFR.
Well, you're an asshole.
I know.
I'm kidding.
You are. Many aren't.
So when we do Who Wore the Crown this week, we're going to do it for the entire week. So we're including the trade deadline in this because we did not do Who Wore the Crown on Monday because obviously it was the trade deadline. There was lots to talk about. Jesse, do you have somebody lined up for today's show?
Yes. So first we got to make up for Monday's show because we didn't do Who Wore the Crown. So that episode was brought to you by Mahesh, who good friend of the show.
Love Mahesh.
Hey.
He donated to Black Girl Hockey Club in honor of the Stick stick in the ground campaign. And Mahesh was hoping in lieu of a one-liner, Adam could recount the story of how he handled eating a ghost pepper a couple years ago.
Oh, that was easy.
And then to close the segment, I'll do today's actual sponsor for it.
Okay. Why did we do the ghost pepper thing? Why did I have to eat that? What bet did I lose? Do you guys remember?
I don't remember why.
It was a big lead up. I remember that. So it was at Regular's bar when we were able to go to bars and do live shows.
I know.
And Regular's, I believe, is still there, hanging on by their nails like every other bar in the city that's been locked down for 120 something days. But anyway, I remember that the ghost pepper thing, somebody brought it and it was in a sealed case, almost like you would get a weed gummy in, that stuff that's like childproof, and it's ziplocked, but then there's the thing on top of it that stops it from anyway. So it's like a multi-part thing to open this pepper. And I remember putting it in my mouth, chewing it a little bit, and then swallowing it, and nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just to be clear, I can taste things. So, and I thought, okay, well, I didn't taste anything in my mouth. I'm okay. But later on, I'm probably going to be in trouble. Fair, right? Again, nothing. So from what I understand,
you got a dud.
Ghost peppers are duds.
Oh, you dodged a bullet.
Yeah. So I eat shishito peppers with dinner all the time. Like I just put them in a frying pan. They're super easy. They cook in like 2 minutes and they're delicious. 1 in 10 of those is very hot. The rest are just kind of like peppers. And this particular hot pepper, this ghost pepper, I think would be a dud. So I got really, really lucky because that should have hurt. I should have been sweating and foaming at the mouth and just
barfing.
Enormous pain. Nothing. Oh. Absolutely nothing.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. I feel bad.
Good for you. That was the night Tavares beat Vegas in overtime.
I didn't even know there was a game.
I remember life.
It's crazy.
By hockey games.
There you go. So Steve, that your memory for that sort of stuff is unbelievable.
Here. This is. I want to see how deranged I am, Jesse. Can you look up the box score from that night? Leafs beat Vegas. It was 2-1 in overtime. Mathews scored the first one. Tavares got the game winner. Pacioretty scored the.
Well, I don't know what game it would be or year.
Vegas has only played Toronto 6 times. Here, type in Leafs Vegas 2-1 overtime. It was Pacioretty, then Mathews, then Tavares, and I think Subban stopped 37-38.
All right, I have the game here. So the game happened on November.
Right.
So give it to me.
It was Pacioretty scored for Vegas.
Yes.
Jesus. Then Mathews in the third period tied it.
Yes.
And then in overtime, Marner to Tavares. He scored the OT winner, but Subban, I want to say, was first or second star of the game because he stopped 37 of 38.
Oh, so Marner to Tavares, you got that. You nailed it in overtime. Subban was second star.
Okay.
35 of 36.
Damn, still really good.
What the hell, Steve?
Or wait, no, wait, 35 of 36. They scored 2 goals though.
Or sorry, 35 of 37.
37. Ah, damn. I was close. It was very close.
I don't like that you were close.
I don't like that either.
Me neither.
That's uncomfortable.
Guys, I have nothing going on. I know hockey things. Can I tell you what I did the other day, or do we want to get into who wore the crown?
Tell us what you did the other day.
Yeah.
No, it's going to take a minute.
That's okay.
No, tell us.
Okay, so we're doing my genealogy thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so
explain what that is.
So, sorry. So I know Leo is going to start asking questions about family history and everything one day. And so I want to have actual answers because my family's they know some things, but they're a little wishy-washy about them. I wish I was more curious when I was younger. I could ask my grandparents more things. I didn't. So we're doing some research. I'm doing a bunch of my own. I've hired someone to help me. And there's this one family in there where the name is way far back. And but luckily someone in their family did a bunch of research. And so I've been using that in my genealogy for that part of the family. I had some specific questions for them. So I just searched for them and found them. and they have this family group on Facebook, and it's like people from the UK, Australia, New Zealand. These are people who are all distantly related to me, and they invited me into the group, and now I'm just asking them questions, and they're giving me like documents and photos and stuff.
And this is on Facebook?
Yeah.
That's so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like looking at their photos. I'm like, that guy, he looks like my dad a bit.
I could see it.
That's what I'm doing. I'm watching hockey and doing that.
Because you've got a lot going on.
A lot going on. Leo can crawl. That's cool.
Great job.
Yeah.
Adam, are you gonna? Who should go first? You didn't care about Steve's story?
No, I was listening. I've heard it though. Steve told me, right?
Told you we could have waited.
I'm letting you tell the story. What's wrong with that? All right. Hey, so do I want to get the crown? Okay. Well,
let's do it. Who's
my
going
crown
first?
goes to Brandon Pridham. Brandon Pridham. Let me say this. As much as I was Captain Skeptical about the Foligno trade, I still can't wait to see him here. Like, it's not.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited to see him. I'm rooting for him. I think sometimes when I say I'm skeptical about a move, or anybody says they're skeptical about a move, everybody thinks, well, you hate the incoming player. No, I don't necessarily hate the incoming player. Sometimes you don't love the price you paid for him, but at the same time, seems to fit what they want in the lineup. That seemed to be what Kyle wanted. So Kyle wanted what Kyle got. But the idea that the Leafs, I remember on trade deadline day, Leafs PR, which everybody has like starred as a notification coming up on Twitter, like we have assigned Nick Robertson and I think it was Sandin or Liljegren to the Toronto Marlies from the taxi squad. And people are like, what the? It's like it's trade deadline. Are you kidding me? You can't be tweeting this stuff out. Like, we're expecting big things here.
It was at like 10 in the morning.
Yeah, which is great, right? Like, I always laugh when that happens. I think that when you can organize a deal where you got a guy that goes through another team and they retain and then retain again, so you're only paying 25% of his salary, so you can go get somebody else. I know that it's a pretty simple concept, but when you look at the maneuvering Brandon Pridham has done this year or has advised Kyle Dubas to do, I don't know how it really works. It's pretty incredible. They are moving people all the time off the taxi squad onto the main roster, off the main roster. Like, it's just a constant cycle. And you got to think, for a guy like Brandon Pridham, who's pretty smart, put together most of what the CBA is, at least on the financial side of things. You got to think that this is kind of getting boring, right? Okay, I know tomorrow I'm going to have to put two guys down that make X amount of dollars. And then the next day I'm going to have to call them up and then put them down the next day. He's probably got this planned months in advance. The guy's playing chess. The rest of the NHL AGMs are playing checkers. And the fact that the Leafs, who still have to retain money on Kessel, who have enormous amounts of money wrapped up in that forward group, were able to get a forward, a defenseman, and a goalie in time for the trade deadline and squeeze it into LTIR because Freddie's been injured is incredible. And that needs to be talked about a little bit more. They've done an amazing job. However these trades work out, that to me was, I think, outside of the Washington-Detroit deal, which is still one that's very, very interesting to kind of break down.
Yeah.
It's one of the craftier, cleverer moves I've seen in the NHL lately. And it's nice to see somebody in the NHL making a clever move rather than like a bam, bam, one for one, bang, bang, bang. Like there's it seems like these guys finesse deals. And then a lot of other GMs are like, no, I only take a baseball bat. So Brandon Pridham, you get my crown. Thank you.
Well, and it goes to the conversation we were having about Ken Holland and the Oilers. Like, I'm not even saying he built a crappy hockey team. I don't think that at all. Like, the Oilers are obviously good, but like, oh yeah, we just couldn't get anything done. Try harder. Like, Brandon Pridham is doing the absolute most to get the most out of the salary cap. Whatever the Leafs are doing, why aren't you? Why isn't your team? And I think if you're a fan of a team that's not doing that, you have the right to ask the question, why aren't the Oilers doing what the Leafs are doing? You know what I mean? Even you can think the Oilers are better. Okay, well, why aren't you even better than that? You could be. The Oilers could be. I bet Brandon Pridham stays up at night thinking I could surround Connor McDavid with Jimmy Vesey and Travis Boyd at the same time. Be amazing. I think that That stuff keeps him up at night. And also the maneuvering, guys going up and down, taxi squad, minors and everything. When you lose a player who's making a certain amount, I think it screws up his little equation there. And I'm wondering how much losing Jimmy Vesey or Boyd complicated matters. Because no, okay, we don't have anyone else who makes $900,000. How am I supposed to make this dollar amount work? And that's why you've seen like there have been players called up who I'm willing to bet less than a quarter of Leaf fans know exists. Mac Hollowell, he's probably going to play in the NHL one day. And like Joey Duzak. Do you guys know who Joseph Duzak is? No. Well, he was called up to your Toronto Maple Leafs. And you don't know who he is. Well, Brandon Pridham, man. Miracle maker.
It just as an aside before you guys get going with your crowns, it's sort of funny, COVID situation aside, because we are going to get to the Canucks COVID situation. There's a lot to discuss there. Yep. It's sort of funny that the Canucks even bothered. Like, what were you, well, with Travis Boyd and Jimmy Vesey, like, what were you hoping to do, man?
It makes their team better. Like, they weren't totally out of the playoff picture.
I mean, if Calgary was at 1.4% last week to make the playoffs, what was Vancouver?
Well, you know what, though? Looking at how bad the Habs have been over the last, 2-3 weeks, it's conceivable the Canucks could be in the picture still.
But 1.4% for Calgary last week to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, when was the last time the Canucks played? 2 weeks?
Vesey and Boyd were free guys too.
Yeah, but for what? Like, what are you augmenting?
Bodies.
Don't you have Jay Beagle and Antoine Roussel?
No, you take
Sutter?
the free Boyd and Vesey.
Okay,
yeah,
free guys,
free hat.
Yeah, you don't like. Hey, I don't want your free hat at the end of the Jays game. You keep it. Like, no, you take the hat and you bring it home. You throw it in the closet.
You throw it on eBay for the weird collectors who are like, I want to pay $75 for a Blue Jay sombrero, please.
Right.
I wish I had the sombrero. Yeah, people wear it as a status symbol. I was at the sombrero game.
People go crazy for those Jays promotions here.
They do.
Yeah, there'll be like 15,000 tote bags, and you'll have a lineup outside the Rogers Center at 11 a.m. for a 1 p.m. game for the freaking tote bag.
We were doing a little bit of cleaning, and my wife's like, remember when we showed up to a Jays game at 11 o'clock in the morning?
You did
for
it.
An umbrella.
You
just pulls it out of the closet. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And we're just walking around the friggin' Rogers Center going, I don't know, what do you want to do for 2 hours?
Yeah.
Probably signed up for some stupid promotional crap.
My ex-girlfriend was worked for the Blue Jays promotions team 10 years ago. And the thing that people went nuts for the bobbleheads, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And it was funny because she said they will start lining up the night before sometimes.
That's
to be the first 5,000 in. And this is when the Jays sucked. And if they drew 20,000, you'd be lucky.
You got to get that Ruel Mondesi bobblehead.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, back then it'd be like, oh man, give me some Ted Lilly.
Oh yeah. Is it Josh Phelps night? They got to line up.
Damn. I remember that Corey Koski day. It was great. Just guy.
I still just love for the guy who was blackout drunk going, Lyle, Overbay.
I miss that.
Oh yeah. I miss the I Love BJ's t-shirt guy. It's always selling the I Love BJ's t-shirt.
Man, he's taking a hit.
Yeah.
The pandemic's been tough on the I Love BJ's t-shirts.
We should do a tough market. People we miss. People we miss because of the pandemic. The I Love BJ's man. The drummer.
I was about to bring him up. The bucket drummer guy.
Let's go Blue Jays. Yeah, he's like Animal. He's unbelievable.
All right, everybody going to your Go train. Here's some entertainment.
Yeah. My dad would always give him $5 because drummers.
Right.
Tip of the hat. Hey. I play the drums also.
For those who don't know, Steve's dad is a metal drummer. He's an unbelievable drummer too.
Check out his band. Good. Atomic Tomb.
That's true.
My 64-year-old father.
I remember once when I was in bands, me and my buddy Alex, who's also Steve's friend, got super drunk and asked him to play with us. Like, and would he be in our band? Because we couldn't find a drummer.
What did my dad say?
Said
Probably no.
Yeah, he was like, no, I don't think so. He's nice about it.
That's hilarious.
He's nice about it. He was really, really nice. Gary's always been great. But yeah, we should start a band. He's like, yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, man. For sure.
Who wants to go next for their crown?
We're still doing crowns, right?
Oh, right.
The whole show is going to be the crowns.
Yeah, well,
this one is it's like 3 Steves. Like no one's.
Steve, do you want to go?
It's just a cat with a laser pointer. Sure, I'll go.
Yeah.
Dave Riddick. Gonna give it to Big Saving David. Gotta give it to him. I thought he had a good game, good first game with the Leafs. You're playing your former team. No one knows you better than them. And they only solved them 3 times. The first one was, hey, buddy, welcome to the Leafs. No friggin' help at all.
Mm-hmm.
Power play goal, those are going to happen. And then the overtime winner. I mean, for God's sakes, Johnny Gaudreau throws on like 20 moves in all alone. That's a difficult time. Ooh, sometimes you just need a save. He provided them. He absolutely provided them. And like John Tavares said, it got him to overtime. Now, I did see some people upset that the Leafs would put Big Saving David in that position and play him in that game. And what you're not understanding is goalies are weird. But Riddick is a Czech goalie who are weird amongst weirdos. Czech goalies, Dominik Hasek, Peter Mrazek.
Weird.
Both weird. And Big Saving David. He lives for the challenge. He rode the plane with the Flames on the way to the game. Absolutely hilarious. And he performed very well, I thought, given the circumstances. So I'll give Dave Riddick the
I do have
crown. I almost said clown.
Quick coaching question for you guys, though.
Uh-huh.
And this goes for pitchers and stuff, too. If the team knows him that well, does that put the Leafs at a disadvantage?
Apparently not.
I mean, he played great.
He knows them well, too.
The Kachucks knowing was sort of like...
I laughed.
I laughed, too.
I laughed. I wanted to be mad, but I'm like, that's kind of cute.
Yeah. Jesse.
So this will be quick because I was also going to give my crown to David Riddick. But, for the very specific reason that he rode the plane with the boys back over to Toronto. So after the game, Lucic was asked about it, and he said that it was nice because they got to say goodbye, and you don't really get to have that opportunity. And then Riddick was asked about it, and he said, let me just pull up the quote here. He said, it was okay. A lot of chirps. Some guys didn't hold back, but at least I had a chance to say goodbye to them. So I'm going to deduce from Lucci saying it was great and Riddick saying it was okay, a lot of chirps, that they gave it to him for what's the flight from Calgary to Toronto?
It's at least
4 hours. 4 or 5 hours.
I assume it was a roast. We've all been in a locker room.
Yes.
It must have been a roast fest for 4 hours in David's ear. So he gets the crown for that because I don't think Tkachuk is holding back at all when he knows that you're now the enemy and I'm about to play you. And you have guys on that team like Lucic who aren't going to hold back either. So yeah, crown goes to Riddick just for riding that plane and enduring that from his Flames buddies.
I'm just picturing like someone walking up and down the aisle. All right, who wants sandwiches? Johnny Gaudreau. I want one. Okay, Johnny, here's your sandwich. All right, who else wants one? Sean Monahan. I'd like one, please. Oh, okay, here you go, Sean. Who else wants a sandwich? I want one, says Dave. Shut up, Dave! You're not even on this team anymore. Don't give him a sandwich. Don't give it to him. What do you all want? He gets last pick. You get eggplant, Dave. Shut up. You're not even on the Flames anymore. Just torture for 4 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Awful. They get
Brave
stuck
man.
on the tarmac. Oh.
Brave man for getting on that.
Now, since this is a double sponsored Who Wore the Crown segment, Jesse, who's our next crown sponsor?
So you guys are going to love this one. It's from Saul, and it has a special connection to you, Adam, and Steve specifically. So I'm going to read his message here. So Saul says, as a former sick kids patient, I decided to make the most of it and do something I've wanted to do for so long and start a monthly donation to their foundation of $50. Yay, Saul.
Hey.
Thank you for doing that.
Amazing.
I want to give back on, even if it's a small level, but I want to help back to the people that help kids and help me when I was down. Some info for the sponsorship when it happens. My name is Saul. I'm from Port Union in Scarborough.
Hey.
And also a former Mowat High School student like Steve and Adam. also like Steve, I was in Dragon Boat during grade 11 under Mr. Maddle. Am I saying that
Medill.
right?
And I was in Dragon Boat too. Okay.
How's
There
your
you
back?
go.
How's
just
your back?
just like Steve talked about in his book. I know it might be sometime before it happens, but it's all good. I'm patient with it, and honestly, so glad to see all the donations to charities. Thanks. Keep up the great work. So there you go.
Amazing.
Wonderful.
That's incredible.
All. Adam, can you make up a liner for all of that?
If you want to grow up right, why not?
Why not?
Grow up at Port Union in Lawrence, the only place that good people grow up in. That's why there's so few of us. Because Port Union in Lawrence, that's the good people factory.
That's it. It's just us.
Sorry, Jesse.
Me, Adam, Chris Draper,
The Bare Naked Ladies,
the Bare Naked Ladies,
Paul Tracy.
mumbles through Luca Magnotta.
The driver?
Paul Tracy.
Paul Tracy was kind of a dick. Yeah. But
Was he?
Yeah, huge dick. Yeah.
What?
Oh, Paul
Good
Tracy on the
stories?
court. Oh yeah, dude. Alex Tagliani was another Canadian race car driver. Like called him a fucking asshole in an interview. Like, yeah, he's a fucking asshole. Like, it was very. Paul Tracy's a dick, but he was very good at what he did.
He's,
I think
one of the guys who-
idea.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Listen, it doesn't mean he's a dick in person. I don't know what he's like, but on the track, everybody hated him.
He's one of the guys who there's like signed pictures of him hanging up in certain stores around the neighborhood. Jingles that were it's a hair salon where you go to get your hair cut. Paul Tracy's hanging up there. Chris Draper is hanging up there. He's also hanging up at the Black Dog Pub and at Mr. Bean Coffee.
And isn't Devontae Smith-Pelly from our area too?
Yes, he is. He brought the Stanley Cup to the Black Dog like Chris Draper did, and Wayne Simmons will.
Yeah.
That is
Wayne
I
trade.
feel like, okay, Adam, based on what you know of the neighborhood, would he bring it to the Black Dog or Stone Cottage?
Oh, Black Dog.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Stone Cottage is too far out of the way.
Damn
You
right.
gotta travel like 10 minutes up Kingston Road for that.
But they carry Granville Island, and I like that.
True.
Anyway.
very true. My band played there once. There you go.
Oh, I knew that's why I hated it.
Well, what's funny is like I think about it now.
I'm pretty sure I couldn't get in the night you guys played.
Yeah, because we were like 16, and I guess the laws. I don't know if they've changed now, but you could be in a band and 16 and in a bar playing, but you could not be drinking. But you could be the entertainment.
Hilarious.
Weird. Anyway, Steve Dangle es un tipo maleonte. What does that mean? Well, in case you don't speak Spanish, that means Steve Dangle is a smelly guy, and I just learned it from Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in the world. It's one of my goals for the new year was to learn a little bit of, new language. And Babbel has made the whole process addictively fun and easy, and I can throw little barbs at my friends in different languages. Little bite-sized lessons, perfect for guys like me who really have low attention spans. They're 15 minutes long, and they make it perfect to learn a new language. You're not spending your time conjugating verbs. We're talking about real world conversations. Now, you've seen other language learning apps, and they use AI for their lesson plans. Babbel lessons were created by using over 100 language experts. Their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective. And with Babbel, you could choose from 14 different languages, including the one I'm trying to learn, Spanish. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you improve your pronunciation and accent. That's the part I'm still working on. So just bear with me. Right now, when you purchase a 3-month Babbel subscription, you'll get an additional 3 months for free. So that's 6 months for the price of 3. Just go to Babbel.com and use the promo code THEORY. That's BABBEL.com code THEORY for an extra 3 months free. Babbel, language for life. All right, so let's get into the show here a little bit. I mean, I guess we're in it. But just quickly on the Leafs, Auston Mathews left practice today. He will be unavailable for the game tonight, but Sheldon Keefe doesn't think the injury is going to keep him out long. We don't really know much more than that. We do know that Adam Brooks kind of switched jerseys out with him. We'll see who's in the lineup tonight. William Nylander will be back, and Rodon Amirov signs his 3-year entry-level contract because I believe the KHL season's done, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. Well, they started basically on time.
Yeah, because it's Russia.
Yeah, and so the unique thing this year is their season typically isn't done until after the trade deadline. And you're not able to, even if a guy could come over, he wouldn't be able to play on your playoff roster. But this year's been very different. Rodon Amirov won't be available to the Leafs, even if they wanted him during the playoffs, because he only just signed, but he can play on the Marlies. And they've worked it into his agreement where they can loan him to the KHL. And according to Dan Milstein, everyone's favorite Russian agent, he will be training with the Leafs development staff in the offseason. So that's great. He'll be getting instruction from the Leafs and guidance from the Leafs during the offseason, and then he'll be playing against big ass grown men in arguably the second best league in the world, third at worst, over there in the KHL.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. Well, maybe he stays with the Marlies next year, right?
It sounds like he'll be going to the KHL if he does not make the NHL, I think is the agreement.
All right, cool.
Makes the most money that way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it says they're expected to loan him for next season, is the report.
Yeah,
that's good. Awesome news. And I guess, kind of going into tonight's game, there isn't really much to say. We'll see what happens. It'll be nice to have Willie back. But it'll be interesting to see. Because
I don't think he's back.
No, apparently he is back.
Oh, I think he needs one more negative test. I don't think he's available tonight.
I will.
Is he? Am I wrong on that? I hope I'm wrong.
Robertson?
I thought no, not Robertson. Nylander.
Oh,
Pretty
Nylander.
Sure Robertson and Brooks are both in.
Oh, okay.
Which would mean Nylander's not.
Nylander, Mathews won't play against Jets. Nylander close to return.
Oh, okay.
Could
with
rejoin
one more negative
team
test. Yeah.
Friday.
Okay.
So Friday is his date.
So they are pretty shorthanded.
This is kind of good though. Like at this point, who cares, right? It's sort of, let's get some other guys some games and see what we have in terms of depth, right? Like Nick Foligno will be here soon. And you're going to have, a crowding of wingers. I'd also like to see, and this is going to be a very unpopular thing to say, I'd like to see Joe Thornton be effective.
No, that's not unpopular. Dude, you can't, if he was named anything other than Joe Thornton, he'd be out of the lineup.
He's also paid like league min,
Yeah. Like it's not anything against the guy.
No.
But for God's sake, like here, let me go through his game by game. And I know he battled an injury and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So he comes out of the gate preposterous. So no points, 2, none, 2, 1, 3, 1, 1, nothing, 1. Since that, he's got 1 assist, and that was March 13th.
Oof.
That was his last point. It was over a month ago, if you want to put it that way. Now, the most he's played in a game is just under 15 minutes. He's mostly around 12, 13-ish. But for God's sake, you got to be contributing. You got to get something in there. He's part of the power play too. Mm-hmm. And like I'm less concerned with his lack of production at 5-on-5, and far more concerned with the fact that he's still in the power play, and the power play has been garbage.
So you have no Mathews, no Nylander tonight. I bet you they score on the power play.
Adam Brooks, that was his first NHL goal against the Oilers without Mathews. And I think it was Spezza passed it and it just bounced off him. There you go. Whatever, they all count. Don't ask how, ask how many, all that shit. And he's from Winnipeg, so it means something for him.
Okay, cool.
I'm just being Pierre Maguire about all this. I'm sorry.
I think it'll be. I'm curious to see how it'll go. I think this is one of those weird, interesting games. Like I remember when the Leafs were terrible, like horrendously bad. Not like right after the Horacek era, because they weren't supposed to be bad. But the next year when they were, the first season with Babs and Kadri, trying to train him, and Morgan Riley getting the worst minutes in the history of man, and Michael Grabner being snake bit the whole season, whatever. I found those games interesting because it was like a petri dish. It's like, let's just throw a bunch of shit out on the ice and see what happens. And I think tonight is a little bit of that. Obviously, you want to see this team compete, play like a playoff team, et cetera, et cetera. But I like when you have new members in the lineup, because it just feels like after a while, every game when you're watching is like, geez, I hope they win this. And it's nice to not have that stress. It's like, well, if they don't win this, it's not the end of the world. And also they're playing a whole bunch of new guys who'll be interesting to watch. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Right. Here, can I read you the lines and then also the power play?
Love it. Let's do it.
So they've gone full-blown line blender. So this is from Kristen Chilton. She always posts the lines. It's Gauch, Tavares, Marner. So they've just taken Tavares, moved him up one slot. Nice and easy. Second line, Hyman, Kerfoot, Mikheyev. Okay. Thornton, Engvall, Simmons. Okay. And Robertson, Brooks, Spezza, which that's full blown Petri dish. That's guessing.
That's fun.
That's putting on a blindfold and throwing a dart. And then the defense is the same. Looks like Campbell's going to get the start. The power play. Funny that we should be talking about Joe Thornton. So the top unit is Riley on the back end, Hyman eating pucks with his mouth, and then Galchenyuk, Tavares, Marner. The second unit, Muzzin, who I've noticed has taken the place of Brody recently.
And pretty good.
Yep. He is there with Robertson. Robertson slotting in on the power play. Thornton, Spezza, Simmons. So that's the grumpy old man plus Muzzin and Child. Right. Power play unit. I hope they get a dumb one. I have a feeling too, if they ever score on the power play ever again before we all die, they're going to get like 3 in the same game.
Yeah.
It's going to be dumb. Like, isn't that just how it works?
That's how percentages seem to work, right? It all evens out, but it's like dry, hot, that sort of thing. That's what it is.
I mean, their power play has, like, if you could divide the season, it's literally the best and the worst. The Leafs power play is probably ranked 15th, but it's never been middle of the pack. It's either been the best or a bag of shit. There it is. There's the first one. We'll see how many I get in this episode.
Do you guys have any takeaways from Anderson skating today and going on the road with the team as well?
Good.
I think it's good to have him there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it would seem unfair to, like, remember the Lou Lamoriello, if you're injured, you don't even show your face at the arena. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, because that was kind of shitty. Getting better, and no, I think that's. I don't know. I think that's a bit.
Is it a sign that maybe he gets a start within the next 7 games ish?
Sure, seems like that.
And then so we're carrying 3 goalies now? Like, what's
I'm going to read what CJ said on his. He said it's not clear if they'd even be able to make the roster moves necessary to activate him before the start of the playoffs, which may end up being a moot discussion because it doesn't sound like he'll be healthy enough to play anytime soon. According to Sheldon Keefe, the fact that he's back out here today and skating previously, because this is not the first time he's skated, apparently. It's a good sign he's making progress. I don't think he's close at this point to actually playing, but this is all part of the process. My understanding is he's going to come on the road with us, so that's very, very encouraging. It's really, really good to have him back out there in his gear. And I think that's part of, if you're the Leafs management now, I mean, you want to win the North Division, and that's cool, whatever. That's great. You want to do that. You want to have home ice advantage. I get it. But more importantly is you want to have a room full of guys that absolutely would die for each other. You look at how the Carolina Hurricanes are, and I love referencing them because they are team spirit all the way, and they have been for 3 or 4 years. They will run through a brick wall for their coach and for each other. And Freddie Anderson is a popular guy in that dressing room. They just love him. And you can see why. I mean, he saved their ass for 3.5 years, and he's also a really good person. And so having him miss out on what potentially could be their best shot, because he's injured, not only seems a little unfair, it just would suck the air out of the room a little bit and suck the joy out of it, because you'd be like, Freddie, I wish you were here.
It doesn't feel right.
At home rehabbing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know it's a business. You got to get better any way that you can. But there's something about the way he helped this team come up that just tossing him to the side like dirty laundry, yucky. I don't like it. Like, if he ends up losing his job to Campbell or hell, even Riddick, fine, but let him lose it. Jesse made the point. You can't lose your job to injury, and you certainly can't lose your job to injury after 4.5 years of being this team's starting goaltender. It's not fair.
Maybe you can.
Maybe
it's performance, guys.
Depends on what game in the playoffs it is.
Yeah. Oh, no. If he plays game 1 and is shit, get out of here. Yeah. But at least that's him playing a game.
He got the opportunity to lose it.
Jack Campbell's starting in the playoffs, guys.
All right, we'll see. We've had this conversation.
That is inevitably how it's going to go. But they're going to give Freddie the chance.
I will drive to Oshawa and reflood your basement. And shut off.
Okay. Let's not go saying reckless shit. How dare you? I have PTSD. Every time it rains, I touch the floor. Make sure it's okay.
At least your
dry.
basement looks incredible now.
I know.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
because I haven't had any scoundrels in it for 14 months.
He might be broke, but he's got a nice basement.
Yeah.
Now,
it's warm now. And your dogs haven't pissed in it for a long time. Adam,
nice.
Jesse, both of you.
That's true. Too.
Hey, my dog pissed in the basement and by the front door. So
True.
She marked all of her territory.
Didn't Bindi take a shit in this very room?
Just gonna say every time Bindi came over, she shit in your house, and she doesn't shit in anyone's house. I don't know why. And then she shit in your fucking office, man. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Charlie and her fought. R.I.P. Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, Charlie was great because I've never seen a more food-driven dog in my entire life. I had a bag.
Oh,
and it's a Converse bag, but it's like a duffel bag.
it's a really nice bag.
Nice bag. And I brought food down for Bindi because I was staying overnight. And this is one of the times Bindi shit in Steve's house. And anyway, so I wanted to make sure I had food to feed her in the morning, whatever. Charlie sniffed it out. He should have been a bomb sniffing dog. The guy his nose was unbelievable and he arrived like laser focused. So I go to my bag later on and there's a huge hole in it. And the clothes are nicely, gently put off to the side. Mm-hmm. The plastic container somehow is popped open. Don't ask me how. It wasn't like it was torn apart. It was just popped open and every single morsel of food was gone. I wasn't even upset because it was so clean. Like he left it like it was in the dishwasher. It was unbelievable. And that dog, man. Every
single time it was Iggy going, "You'll be hanged for this." And Charlie said, "No, I'm going to get chewed out. I've been chewed out before."
Or James Franco on with the rope around his neck. First time?
Yeah, first time.
Dinner time can be chaotic, but with Freshly, it's easy. Their chefs take care of your meals a few nights a week, and they take the pressure off you. We're all trying to get in shape and eat right, and Freshly can help with that. Their delicious meals are designed by nutritionists and cooked by chefs, making it easier to eat better. Now, Freshly offers chef-made, nutrient-packed, delicious meals delivered right to your door. No cooking required. I love this. Ordering, super easy as well. Freshly.com. That's it. And you can choose from over 30 delicious, satisfying, better-for-you meals like steak peppercorn, sausage baked penne, and their chicken pesto bowl. My personal favorite. Freshly can fit your lifestyle with a variety of plans and meals to pick from for your dietary needs, your preferences, your tastes, and your family size. And right now, you, as a listener of this show, can try Freshly for just $6.16 per meal. Stop searching the internet for healthy food near me every night and start living your life freshly. Right now, Freshly.com is offering $40 off your first 2 orders when you go to Freshly.com/SDP. Stop stressing about dinner. Go to Freshly.com/SDP for $40 off your first 2 orders. That's Freshly.com/SDP for $40 off your first 2 orders. Okay. So I do want to talk about the Canucks situation because I think there's so much about this that is a bit troublesome. So I think it was last episode of the episode before, I even said, pretty sure they're going to play again. And I would think that the players would want to play again. But, what I didn't say at the time, and what I should have said, was that if the players don't want to play, how can you compel them to?
Right.
And if they have legitimate health concerns, how can you compel them to? And
I wouldn't feel bad about that, Adam. You can't say every damn thing. Like, I think some things should go without saying. Like, no, if they don't want to play, you force them. Like, no.
Do you have Miller's quote there?
Do you have it?
I can definitely pull it up.
Yeah, because I've got. Do I have Miller's quote? I've got the Thomas Drance tweet. Which
the Drance stuff is extremely important. And while you pull that up, I'll give some context there.
I got it, but go ahead.
You got it? Ahead. Well, so Thomas Drance covers the Canucks. He previously did for Canucks Army. Then he was hired by the Florida Panthers in a PR role. Now he's back with the Canucks. Not with the Canucks, sorry, covering the Canucks for The Athletic. And he was asked some questions, not just about the Canucks, but how they approach this from a PR angle and basically the decision to allow JT Miller to speak.
Yeah. So I have it here. It was on Zoom. It's JT Miller speaking on behalf of his teammates about concerns they have on the NHL rushing them to return to play. He says, "I don't feel ready at all. I was fortunate not to get sick, but you feel for your teammates. I kind of felt guilt here and there, and all I could think about was how do we all stay healthy out of all of this? Just want to make sure everyone and their families stay healthy. I haven't really thought about hockey much, but it's kind of crazy. I know everyone has a job to do, but to expect our entire team to be ready to play in one practice and a pregame skate is a bit hard to comprehend. Even for me sitting around and not doing much, my lungs are screaming. It's frustrating. We try to talk about our number one priority as our players' health and their family's safety, and it's impossible to achieve that with what they're being asked to do. What we're being asked to do is not going to be too safe, if you're asking me. And then JT Miller's asked bluntly, should you be playing? And he says, I don't want to be caught agreeing with you, JT Miller says. There's a lot of moving parts, but I don't know. It's unfortunate that we're even in a scenario like this. This has nothing to do with hockey, to be brutally honest. We're going to need more time than this to come back and play. Even the guys that didn't get it aren't ready.
And to give you an idea of how fly by the seat of your pants this all is, since we started the show, John Shannon tweeted, Oilers versus Canucks tomorrow night has been postponed. Understandable. Then he followed up with, at this time, 3:20 Eastern time, the Maple Leafs are still hoping to fly to Vancouver tomorrow for hockey night on Saturday, which seems impossible.
I don't think they're going to play.
No. There's been an aspect with this whole, with COVID, obviously, in the NHL and the NBA and NFL, like I've been very motherly about it. Oh, everyone be safe and wear a jacket. You know, that's just my nature, being raised by an Italian woman. But, you know, Adam has been very big on, you got to try though. Like we can't just all be, you know,
well, it's the pandemic. Let's give up.
Yeah. Let's give up on everything. You got to try, and you can, if you try and fail, oh, you know, shucks. And you took every precaution and everything, and safety is paramount. And you know when to pull the chute and everything, but you got to try. So that's why I've been softer on, no, this shouldn't be happening and that shouldn't be happening. This Canucks thing though, I'm inching towards, like, dude, it's April 15th. They're not going to play April 16th. We just agreed that they're probably not going to be playing April, what would that be, 17th?
Yep.
What was the plan? They were going to play back-to-backs coming out of this shit?
Yeah, that was literally the plan.
Stupidity. And, like, I know you got to try, but the Canucks have, 2 weeks worth of games now to basically make up. The season's supposed to be done in less than a month. Mm-hmm. This is inching towards you pull the chute on the rest of the season. And,
you know, there are options available for that. Like, you just switch to winning percentage. Like, the Canucks aren't going to make the playoffs anyway. Cancel all the Canuck games, and you decide the division on winning percentage.
I mean, it's
like, why not?
Yeah, it's like you said, they weren't going to make it anyway. I mean, they could have theoretically, but like if the players were chomping at the bit to get back, and you know what, we're going to make the playoffs and this and that. Like Adam Gaudette, by the way, sort of underrated storyline. They sure kind of made it seem like he was traded because of this.
Yeah, I wanted to say that too. I read a few clippings after the show and I was like, I'm surprised that they're saying this.
It was weird because there was a whole bunch of reports about him being, quote, patient number one. Like he was the first person on the team to get COVID, and then that led to his being traded, which that doesnst sound right, you know?
And like he was sick. Like he didn't just have it and was a carrier. He was ill.
Right.
So
extremely.
Like, okay. So why say it? Why say it at all? Number one. Number two, why say it unless they want to put across a message of this guy was irresponsible? That's what it says to me. I'm not saying that he was, but doesn't it leave you with that sort of taste in your mouth? And that makes me wonder why the Canucks did that. Like,
that's
even
a slippery slope, though. If you're trying to get that narrative out in the media that, this guy, he got COVID. Like, no, it's a viral disease.
But why was it said several? And I agree with you, Jesse. But why then would you say it several times?
I don't know.
Why is it in every publication about the trade?
It'll come out eventually. I think it'll come out eventually. I mean, people probably know the story. I haven't heard anything. I'm not being coy. And like I was worried too. Like the Marlies are basically on lockdown right now or whatever because they I think they had a positive test And then it's like Nick Robertson was just there and he just played the Habs and the Flames. And how are we going to treat this? And supposedly he's fine. Nylander, it sounds like, I mean, once you're in protocol, you got to do it for a week. It doesn't sound like he ever actually had it. So that's good. He's got to produce another negative test. I assume if he tested positive, we would have learned something there. This is really, it sounds like everyone is taking the precautions here with Gaudette. It's a mystery. I guess we'll never know, but the outbreak with the Canucks was really bad. And it's not even just the players who were asking to skate 1,000,000 miles an hour and use their lungs to max capacity after having a basically virus of the lungs. It's their families, right? And what was it? Travis Hamonic didn't go to the bubble because something to do with his daughter. I think she has a lung condition or something like that. Like, these players have to worry about their families.
Right. And just like on Miller going on Zoom and doing that whole thing, it was so apparent to me that it was serious from a hockey perspective because a hockey player said something. Like, how rare is it that you get a guy who's currently in the NHL being honest with the media? And the fact that Miller's up there just bearing his soul about how the guys on the team don't want to play, that's a complete opposite attitude of the button up, hey, you get out there and you play no matter what. These guys play with all these injuries all the time. They play with broken limbs, broken bones, fractured whatever. And the fact that they're coming out and being like, no, we can't play tomorrow. This is ridiculous. That just saying it means a lot. And like yesterday, we even saw Jason Tatum. He's a basketball player for the Boston Celtics. He came out yesterday. He's 23 years old, and he said after he got COVID, since his positive test and since he was sick and he had to quarantine and all that, he's been using an inhaler pregame every single game because his lungs aren't ready. He's a professional athlete at 23 years old. You can't get higher peak conditioning than Jason Tatum in the world, and he's using an inhaler because his lungs aren't at capacity yet, and he's out there playing, but he needs it every single time. So I can't imagine these Canucks guys being like, hey, we can't play tomorrow, and what they're going through. Just listen to them.
Yeah.
We're talking about guys who could potentially never be the same again.
Right.
Well, yeah.
And we're asking them to play the second they're cleared.
We could be talking about that. I prefer not to get into that too much because it's so depressing.
Of course.
Sure. But Steve,
also speculation. But
you're also 100% right. It could be. We just don't know. And that's the part. And here's my question in all of this. When I saw all of this, what's the harm in waiting a week?
Give them some time.
Give them a week.
What
do we lose?
It seems so irresponsible.
Go to the games? Like, what do we lose?
All right. A lot of the things I was reading was some of the upper management on the other teams are worried about like draft lottery odds. Like if the teams don't play all their games, how are you going to determine the lottery odds? Is it fair? And stuff like that. But there are you can play if you want to play all the non-playoff implication games after the season. Maybe like there are options for that. If you want to do points percentage, just do
sim them on EA Sports NHL 21.
I have them all play video games.
I hate that so much. Like, you can't come up with a solution. Like, dude, the 2005 draft lottery, which determined where Sidney Crosby went,
and frankly, whether Pittsburgh kept their franchise or not,
their team existed.
Honest to God, and it was just a metal thing full of ping pong balls.
Flip a coin for every game. Like, heads, Vancouver wins; tails, they lose. Like,
I have an idea. If you're going to decide the standings on winning percentage, why not do the same with the draft lottery? I'll hang up and listen to your answer.
There it is.
There are solutions.
And anyone who complains about it, I think you're well within your right to tell them to shut the hell up. What else do you want us to do, Greg, or whoever?
All right.
Greg, shut up, Greg.
That's a great move.
Sorry. Oh, the draft lottery. Okay, everyone, we're going to stop prioritizing everything else to do with this nightmare of a season that we've somehow pulled off because Greg wants us to put together fair. Was that your word, Greg? Fair. Greg, who is 6 years old, would like the draft lottery to be fair for his shitty team. And the only reason he's asking is because they're shitty. Greg, I'm sorry, is that fair to say that they're shitty? Good teams wouldn't ask me that question. Sorry, what were you saying? I don't know who that conversation was between that I just acted out.
No.
But it's a fair.
Greg. Is Greg now Karen?
It seems like the NHL is going to come to a reasonable conclusion. Like with what you were just saying there, Steve, about them canceling tomorrow. I assume they'll cancel Saturday and they'll have some scheduled dates and they might make Vancouver play, but they should come to a reasonable conclusion here.
If I might say something so bold, to this point, I don't think the NHL's done that bad of a job handling things.
Generally, it doesn't seem like it, no.
Like
considering, yeah.
Few outbreaks, that sort of thing. So my message to them is don't fuck it up now. You're right there. You know, most of the American players can get a vaccine already. How great is that? Amazing. Good for you. You're almost through it. Just fucking hang on. Let the non-playoff team have a breath. Hang out with their families. Take a week off. The Aquilinis can afford it. It'll be okay. And understand that there is a global crisis here. And I think they will. I think they'll come to that conclusion. Now, I'm not saying the NHL has been perfect, and I know I'm going to get a bunch of tweets going, well, what about this and what about that? And you're right. But honestly, if you were the NHL, you were running the NHL, you would have made mistakes too. This is just something that there's no way to know how this is all going to go, right?
People have criticized the schedule, and I'm like, I think it's miraculous they've been able to pull it off. The one thing I'd say you're absolutely within your right to criticize was making the Oilers play on the day of the memorial of Colby Cave.
Well, that was idiotic.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But other than that, I think they've done a pretty miraculous job with the schedule.
Yeah, and I know the NBA and the NHL both have complained about the fact that the schedules are compressed, but this is what we're in. Right. So to play or don't play.
What is the other option?
Yeah, what is exactly? So anyway, long story short, I do want to give the NHL credit there. I give them credit for very little, but they deserve credit for this. This is a lot of work. And they've had few outbreaks. People thought it was going to be absolute fucking pandemonium. And when Dallas, I think in Florida, went down early, there was a couple teams that, and I don't think Dallas has been the same. I'm a big believer.
Buffalo had their outbreak. And
St. Louis went down before the bubble.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel bad because I've been pumping Dallas's tires, but I think they lost a goalie and Radulov for the rest of the year. So my prediction might not be great, although they're right freaking there. They're right there. Keep pushing, Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, all predictions are subject to change.
Well, no.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No. If I say it, I'm doubling down on it. So go Dallas.
Okay, Adam. Okay.
I mean, Chicago's got a better shot at this point, but It's not looking good, but we'll try. Anyway, long story short, give the NHL credit. Until this point, don't fuck it up now.
Right. And just your point, Adam, anybody who's getting anything done in this pandemic needs, hey, you get points. The fact that you are getting things done while the world is crumbling, hey, pat on the back, high five. I'm proud of you. That's it. It's this is a lot of stuff is going on in the world and we're all trying hard and everybody's trying their best. We're all doing good as long as you keep trying.
Yeah. Relative to how shitty things are.
Yeah.
Good work, everyone.
Good work, society.
So
good work.
Let me ask you something. What interferes with your happiness? It's kind of a deep question, but if you're feeling like you're going through days that should be happy, that you should be enjoying, but you're not, might be time to check out BetterHelp. Now, I can tell you from my experience as a guy who's been through, mountains of therapy and have done it for over 10 years, it's an enormous help. It changes your life. And all you have to do is take that first step. Now, with BetterHelp, it's kind of cool because BetterHelp will connect you in a safe and private environment with somebody within 48 hours. You can send your therapist a message anytime. And again, remember, this is not a crisis line. It's not self-help. This is professional counseling. And you're going to get timely and thoughtful responses to all the things that you want to do. You can schedule weekly video and phone sessions. All you have to do is sit in your room, whatever's most comfortable for you, and you can connect with somebody online. And we're talking licensed professional counselors who are specialized in all sorts of areas, such as depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, sleeping, trauma, anger, family conflicts, LGBTQ plus matters, grief, self-esteem, anything that you share is confidential, and you should absolutely check this out. It's convenient, it's affordable, and most importantly, it's the best investment you can make in yourself. So we want to offer you the ability to start living a happier life today. As a listener of the Steve Dangle Podcast, you're going to get 10% off your first month by visiting betterhelp.com/SDP. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's betterhelp, HELP.com/SDP. I want to mention this too. Eric Francis had a story at sportsnet.ca about the Calgary Flames' new arena, which they desperately need. And they need it for more than just hockey. It's very important that, if they ever want to attract any other major sports to that city, which could easily support it with the amount of money that flows through there. And frankly, if they want to attract big gay concerts, like, when I was there, I think I talk about this all the time, like AC/DC and Taylor Swift would do 2 nights in Edmonton rather than 1 night in Calgary and 1 night in Edmonton, because Calgary people would drive up the road and see it at Rexall rather than, and that's the old Edmonton arena too. They'd rather do that than play at the Saddle Dome, because the Saddle Dome dips and there's a whole bunch of challenges structurally there that, they can't accommodate some major concert shows. It's time for a new arena, but after the closed door meeting and I'm going to read this directly from Eric Francis, to update city councilors on the status of Calgary's $550 million event center, the project manager sent a statement to Sportsnet confirming plans have ground to a halt. Said at this early stage of the project, there is a difference in the current budget estimate and the program requirements for the facility, aka they don't have enough money yet. Given the significance and importance of the project, the parties have jointly agreed to pause the project and project team to allow time to resolve these challenges, meaning they want the world to get back to normal. So, it's a bummer for Flames fans. I feel for them, because the Saddle Dome's a great barn, but it's only really good for hockey. And, and smaller shows, and that's a bummer. And I think the city of Calgary deserves a better sportsplex. And imagine if the Flames organization had not spent 3 years fighting the mayor on this, they might actually have it built.
Oh, I know. And it's just rich people trying to squeeze as much money, yada, yada, yada. I think we've already covered this. The Saddle Dome, though, I love the idea of it, and the aerial shot always looks so cool, but it's one of those things where it's like, it seemed like a good idea at the time. It looks cool from the outside, and then you get in there and you're like, oh yeah, how are we supposed to get anything done?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It is a cool place to...
Sports arenas are such a scam on cities by billionaires. Like, stop stealing tax money to build your toy places.
Well, and how are you
your
asking,
own arenas?
How are you asking for 70 million or whatever it was from a municipality now, right now, at this moment in friggin' history? Really? You're asking for tax money for it? Shut up. Build it. You're rich. It's Comrade Steve showing up again. But come on.
If you really want to get technical about it, the idea that the people of a city pay for a private arena is socialism. That's corporate socialism. You're subsidizing a rich person or a person at all. When you subsidize somebody for an expense that they would normally have to incur, there's socialist tendencies there. And that's what that is. It's corporate socialism. So, these guys are, and Calgary's quite to the right of scale, shall we say, as is the province of Alberta. And it's funny because these big corporate guys are like, no, right wing, until it's us. And then we would really like $550 million, please.
I like I read this thing about there not being any billionaires anymore. And it's like, when you reach $1 billion, you should just get a plaque that says you won capitalism.
Yeah.
Like, you won. And here's acknowledgement that you won capitalism. You beat it. You beat it on Legendary. Mm-hmm. Now everything up to 999 whatever, you hand that over now.
See, if we're getting crazy, I wouldn't even stop there. What I would say is, forget stopping or preventing billionaires or whatever you want to call it. What you do is you base it on percentage of how much the average person makes. Because billionaires, like a millionaire,
actually, minimum wage hikes are good.
A millionaire 100 years ago would be equivalent to a billionaire now, right? That's how money works, right? It's with the inflation that we're dealing with.
That's what Red Dead taught me.
So to think it, in that sense, I think you need to do it on a percentage basis. That's just me. Anyway, long story short, let's get to the press conference because we are running out of time, gentlemen.
That's wild. I feel like the show just began.
I know. We had a fun beginning there. I enjoyed talking about the NFTs. It's kind of fun to talk about it in not a 3-minute segment because whenever because it's a complicated subject. And whenever I hear, because it's really only Hockey Night Canada and I guess the Sportsnet panel that's really covered it. I haven't heard TSN tackle it. It always feels like I've got more questions than answers. Mm-hmm. Like the first time I heard Elliot talk about it, I was like, okay, but I have this, and this, and this, and this. So it's nice to talk to you guys about it and actually get an in-depth of how does this work? And I'm paying this money. Can I sell this money? How do I buy it? Like all that stuff. It's kind of good to get into the little nitty gritty stuff of it.
So when I saw Freege talk about that on Headlines, NFTs for the first time, or Top Shot, I texted him and I'm like, you know what? My buddy actually knows a lot about this. Justin Fisher on Hockey Twitter. Huge Top Shot guy. He's doing really well with it. And so I connected them and he ended up featuring Fisher in 31 Thoughts, talking about Top Shot.
Justin, the troll Fisher?
Yeah. And like getting a Fred Van Vliet card for his mom. And
but that segment, it's like, it's not meant for 90, like talking about NFTs isn't meant for your 90-second hit. No. Like Elliot's got like 2 minutes and 90 seconds to get out his point, and you can't really dive deep into digital cards in that moment.
And I'm not blaming Elliot, but I feel like if you're going to do that, just devote the whole block to it. Just get into it. The
other thing with today's show is we spoke for like half an hour before the show began. Just being pals.
Yeah.
Just being friends.
Yeah.
We've seen each other at the same time, all three of us, once. This entire time.
When was that?
When we had to go to the bank for register something. That's it.
We're going to count.
That's Jesse came over to drop off the merch recently. Mm-hmm. Adam, I think the last time I saw you, Leo was having the worst day of his life.
Yeah, he was miserable. And I came to your front door and knocked on it to drop something off.
And then shortly after you left, he pooped.
I have seen you so few times that there's a package that somebody had delivered to the station last year in January for Leo. And I keep forgetting to give it to you.
Oh, no.
And I have it in my truck and I have not had the chance to get it to you because we've been on lockdown for so long. And then
the hockey cards.
Oh, I guess, yeah. You should tell Jesse.
So, Jesse, hockey cards show up in our mailbox and we don't know who sent them. And so what is our address? What's going on? Steve, you got to be more responsible. Like I caught shit for it. And it turns out we find out like a month later, it was Adam sending me them for my birthday.
Oh,
I said
yours birthday.
I just texted them. I was like, by the way, did the cards arrive? Because I knew they'd be late. And then I guess they had and didn't know it. I thought it said it was going to come from, I thought it was going to say my name on it or something, but I guess
no. So. It's just cards showed up. And I'm like, okay.
I thought, wasn't there a Felix Potvin rookie in there?
I think so. Yeah, there is. I remember Potvin for sure. Yeah.
Do you guys want a trivia question from Marco?
Hell yeah, let's go.
All right. Do you know how many goals away Auston Mathews is from the top 10 all-time on the Leafs list?
How many, can I ask how many he already has?
In his career?
210 is number 10, by the way.
Oh, did you look it up?
No, I know that because I tweeted about it about a month ago. I think it's Bob Pulford or something like that.
Did you just ruin it?
Well, I didn't because Jesse didn't give you how many he has. But I would say, I think he's within 35, I would say.
Okay, so I'm just going to tell you. So Ted Kennedy is at 230 at number 10. Auston Matthews is 41 goals away from the top 10. So next year, Auston Matthews is going to get into like the top 10 all time in Toronto Maple Leafs history in goals.
And what is Sundin? Because he'd be in the 400s.
Sundin is the all-time leader in goals for the franchise. He is at 420. This is very
nice.
Yeah.
Can't wait till Mathews is 69 away. You see, because wow.
Does he gets that record, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Sticks around. Like how many do you think he sticks around for? It's going to take like what, 10 years maybe?
Yeah. I think
7 years. 7 years
he's
from
money
now.
In the bank for 40 a year at this point.
With barring no injuries.
He's got over his last 82 games, he has over 60 goals.
Wow.
I say it takes him 5 seasons at about 40 a season. And I definitely think he's sticking around. Because I think it's pretty clear that outside of what the Leafs can pay him, which is whatever they want, the ancillary benefits of playing for this franchise are huge. And like it's what made me laugh so hard when Brian Burke was like, "Oh, he's going to go to the Arizona Coyotes." Well, you know what kind of a shit show the Coyotes organization are now. This was before the current owner, who has brought stability. The previous guy was worse. Like, what do you mean he's going to Arizona? Why? Until they figure their shit out, they're not going to attract any star players. Nobody wants to stay there. And so anyway, long story short, I don't think, like, I can understand, like, when you look at like Panarin leaving Columbus, you can understand the guy wants to make him, $11 million a year and play in New York. New York's pretty cool. That's a great place to live.
Sure.
Toronto's pretty awesome when it comes to hockey. I'm pretty confident they're going to be able to hang on to him unless there's some sort of souring of relations, which I don't see because he's Auston Mathews and you do what you can to keep him happy.
Is it safe to say that Auston Mathews currently plays for the most popular hockey team on planet Earth?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
Why would you ever give that up voluntarily? If you're a person like Auston Mathews who seems to thrive in this condition.
The only exception is I go back to something I've said in the past. There is no bad place to be rich. So he can go wherever he wants.
But remember, like training staff as you get older and, all the other things the Leafs offer that other teams just don't have. I think the Rangers, maybe Boston, maybe Philly have some similar things going on. Obviously, the Rangers do. They're the most valuable franchise in the sport.
Well, I remember Tobias Lindbergh coming from the Sens to the Leafs, and he gets to the Marlies, and he's like, "Oh, your goalie coach goes on the road," And this was like pre-Panini, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just one of those things. Like, I wonder, I'd love to know, like, maybe like a Connor Brown. Like, he's obviously loving Ottawa. Shout out to Connor Brown, by the way, goals in 8 straight games. But I'd love to know if he like reached for something once, like some sort of iPad or whatever. Oh, you don't have those? Oh, you guys don't? Oh, okay. No. I'll figure it out. It's fine. I would love to know if someone has ever left the Leafs and gone to their new team and gone, oh.
Yeah. Oh, I don't get a massage after this game? Oh, where's your massage therapist?
Guys, I had 7 goals last year. Where is my universal love?
Do you remember last year in the bubble when we got all the stories about inside the bubble and how the rich teams got like the buffet spreads and the free Uber Eats and all that stuff, and then some of the lesser teams didn't get that stuff? I'm sure it happens all the. It was Wyshynski who did the article, did he not?
I think so.
Who did the inside the bubble expose? Anyways, I might be misremembering who wrote it, but yeah, I'm sure it happens. Like, the rich teams definitely have all these ancillary benefits to playing for them.
Look at if you're looking for parity, complete parity like the NHL is, you're never going to get it.
No,
never happen. So it's about having a stable, good organization and trying to give every team the bare minimum. And I think there's certain reasons that you sign with certain teams. I think Auston will stay. That's my belief. He's got the opportunity. Like, you could be pretty damn popular in Arizona if you're Auston Mathews, but I don't think you'd ever be a god. And I think you'd be a god in Toronto.
Look at the guys who didn't win and had terrible careers are gods here.
Can make $500,000 a year in 3 days.
Like, can you imagine if the Leafs win the cup? Guys who haven't played for this team for a quarter century are going to get a raise. People are going to, yeah, I would like to see Curtis Joseph. Wait, he didn't win with the Leafs, right? Yes, but I want him anyway.
He was a Leaf.
He's still in commercials.
Yeah. There's a window. He's doing a Windows commercial right now, literally for Windows. He's walking to the door. All he does with a cup of coffee is walk to his window and look outside and go, "It's nice to have land." Except he doesn't say that. It's literally, that's it.
And they edited the commercial because the first time I saw it, there was no description at the bottom. You just had to know that was Curtis Joseph.
And everybody knew.
Otherwise, it could just be an actor. It's just some
a
guy
good looking
with brown-
guy in his 40s.
Yeah, brown hair and a beard.
What is
Now it's like,
By the way,
Joseph.
Cujo is hot. Can I just be honest about that?
is he a
Cujo?
dilf?
That's a handsome guy.
He's
Oh,
dilf status.
Oh, yes.
He's
absolutely. I
He's a
would.
Gilf. He's a goaltender.
Oh,
I'd like to
no.
film doing a commercial.
Steve, I think gilf is something else, and
Is it? What could it be?
Probably. I don't
What
know.
could it possibly be?
I think it might be something else. You might not want to use that one.
I can't.
I don't know.
can't think of what
I'm
it would
gonna
be.
move on.
I think it's goaltender I'd like
can't
to
think-
frame, as in get him in the right
totally.
frame for the commercial.
Nope, that first letter is definitely
Oh.
goaltender. Awesome.
Okay.
All right, moving
Okay.
on. Adam, I have a question.
I'll have to
for
Google
you.
that later.
Off of this topic. What do you think are the total amount of views on Steve's LFR for the Stanley Cup winning game for the Toronto Maple Leafs?
It's gonna hit. So you're Steve. Just can I ask this question, Jesse?
You can ask Steve as many questions. Just get enough info, and then you're going to put your guess down now. And then
Okay.
when the day it happens, we're going to play back this clip and see how close you are.
Steve, what's your 9-2 game count? The Nashville one.
Let me look. I have my computer.
Because
open,
that
obviously.
if you don't know, if you're just getting on in the last 3 years with Steve, and I don't blame you because the Leafs weren't really much to watch before that. That game there are a couple moments that I've seen, being side by side with Steve since before he had 30,000, like pre 30,000 subscribers, Steve. There were accelerant moments in Steve's career. It's like
Yeah.
it was like kind of slow growth, absolute fire, boom, next level. And
It's when an artist releases a couple of songs and then has a number one hit.
yes,
You know?
So here's the 200,000 club. I have very few videos that are over 200,000. So wow. Okay. So the video outside of the 200,000 club is the Leafs getting Freddie Anderson. That's 157,000 views.
Okay.
Then it's a jump. So it's the Leafs losing to Columbus in game 5. That's 212. The Leafs getting the first pick leading to Auston Mathews. That's 213. The Leafs getting John Tavares. That's 216. Then it's another jump to 9-2 against Nashville. This is number 4. 279,000 views. The Leafs lose to Boston in 2019, 324,000 views. The Leafs trade Phil Kessel, 330,000 views, and nothing comes even close. The David Ayres game, 754,000 views. And even so the Phil Kessel video has 5,000 likes. The loss to Boston has 9,500 likes. The loss to Columbus has 10,000 likes. The David Ayres video is 24,800.
jeez.
It's
Now-
on another level.
Now let me ask you this for the podcast, because this is important too to my quest to make a prediction here. For the podcast, which episodes or clips, whichever, have done the best? I know our Tavares episode is over 100,000. I'm
That's
not
over
sure if it's still
100K.
number one.
We are 6 digits on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
is
That's
it
our
our-
number.
is it
That's
our-
our number one of all time.
Okay.
Let me look.
Yeah.
Sorted by most popular.
And Adam, this is so your guess is going to be for 7 days after the release of the video.
Okay.
What do you think the view count is on the Stanley Cup winning video of the LFR?
After 7 days.
After 7 days. Yeah, we're
Okay,
going to give
so-
it some time and then we're going to come back to this clip.
Here, what while you're coming up with that. So David Ayres funds my channel. John Tavares funds ours. So Tavares, 114,000 for that episode. Then the David Ayres episode, we did 71,000 on YouTube. But then our third most popular clip ever. The Montreal Canadiens are going to sign John Tavares with 61,000.
Wow.
Yeah, troll clip. Well, and number 4 is what's a fair hockey trade for Alexander Ovechkin?
Bizarre. What a bizarre.
I used to write the most ridiculous titles.
And CJ episodes do very well, and also Tim and Sid. So thank you to those guys.
So let me ask you. So let me say this: 7 days,
7 days after I upload my Stanley Cup video,
1.5 million.
I think you might be right.
1.5 million. And
Pays
here's
for the
why.
furnace.
Sportsnet's going to run it a bunch of times. So it'll be exposed to a lot of people.
I'll sell it to
it'll be
Disney
run. It'll be run on in the States for sure. And CBC is going to pick it up, which means it'll reach most Canadians. I just based on what I saw with the Airs game, if you see the Airs clip and you were to reverse it and it's not depressing, right? And you're talking about the biggest fan base in the country. That's going to go through the roof. You're going to be at, you're going to be at a pretty high level at that point. And it's so funny to talk about that as like it's a normal thing, or like, oh yeah, that would happen, because it's like 1.5 million people. Like even think about like some of our videos, they'll do, what is it? Some of them lately have been like doing 36, 37. Like you could fill the Air Canada Center, the Scotiabank Arena twice with that.
Yeah.
There are episodes that we have, and we have such incredible, like if you're listening to the show, thank you. I have discussed our numbers with members of major sports organizations in this city. And they say things like, well, your podcast would outrate TFC.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And you think of like people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for those rights. So it's you know what it is, Steve? It's this incredible relationship you've built with a lot of people who really love you. And I understand why I love you too. And it's really kind of cool. And I think there's a really special community going on here. If we could just have the Leafs make it past the first round. And I just think the momentum would be huge. I think 1.5 million. By the way, if that was like a PewDiePie or a David Dobrik video, it'd be like, oh, that was a failure.
He gets that for like a vlog.
Yeah, right.
I went to Jamba Juice today.
I ate a Subway sandwich, 30 million hits. And you're like, why? I don't get it.
David Ayres video would be the 7th most populated city in Canada, taking out Winnipeg. And if my cup video got 1.5, it would be number 4, taking out Calgary. Just win! One! My God! I have a mortgage! Win the cup! I have a mortgage and a furnace! And my basement flooded once. I have an army of figures I want to buy. I have a dog that loves treats. Just win one. What was the beginning of all this?
I don't know. I think Steve or Jesse was just asking me for my prediction. That's my prediction.
Oh,
all right.
That's
we'll
my
write
prediction.
it down. We'll come back to this maybe 30 years from now when they win it. Who knows?
No, but a lot of those views, though, for the Airs videos, those are like replays. Those are people.
And it's hate watches, too. It's like, Leafs suck.
It's consistently, like if I go and check my channel at any given moment for real-time views, like almost any given hour, it's the top 5 because people just go back and watch it. It's been over a year and people still watch it.
Yeah. I don't yeah, it's just like, it's, what's funny about the Airs thing is that there's oftentimes, and if you're a regular watcher of Steve, you'll know what I'm talking about. When people see Steve in any sort of clip show, like if you brought him up on Tim and Sid or something like that, it's always when he's at 11 out of 10, Steve. And I remember several of my friends saying, like, before they met him, like, is he okay? Like, you're all right. And when if you listen to this podcast, you know that Steve can be super chill. He actually can be super down. He can be, you can be all over. There's emotional depth human here. Yeah, emotional depth. Imagine that. And not afraid to be out there about it. And I just think it's so funny because that video would probably be you at an 11 out of 10 again. And that would be the one you were probably most known for.
That was the first video for a lot of my neighbors. And I had some explaining to do.
Oh, yeah?
My one neighbor is like, my wife saw that. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll talk to her.
Whenever parents say, oh, I listen to your podcast, to me, I'm like, I'm sorry.
Oh, I know.
Sorry.
I know. And now they just kind of get it.
Yeah, 100%. Anyway, that's my guess. Jesse, any more questions?
No, I think we're good for today.
Good for today. Okay, so we will be back Monday and be on the lookout. More content incoming. Just throwing that out there. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. STPN.ca. Check out stuff if you need stuff and things, especially if you need a really good pair of track pants, because they are great. Check them out.
They are.
And also keep bugging Jesse about the jersey drop. And
no, don't bug me.
Bug him. Please tweet him. Please
bug him.
Oh, God.
Where is it?
We'll see you Monday.
Steve The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.